told your friend you're not okay? And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Got a buildup of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay? Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's
Okay, can you guys see me? Because I can't see crap. And I don't know why. I must have touched something. Damn it. Ha! There we go. I'm here. Hi, Heavenly Cow. Hey, it's just Kate, Teresa. So I changed your wrench, Teresa. I took your wrench for a second, and now it's back, and now you're the managing one. The managing moderator. So I thought tonight we could just read some weird ass stories. I know from this book. I like it. It's called The Most Bizarre True Crime Stories Ever Told. Well, let's hope so. I don't know. I just want something different. Of course, the first one's a cannibal. Let me know if you heard this one. Hey, Country Girl. Yeah, I just figured I'm going to read some of these bizarre true crime stories. I just got this book. It's not very big. So there's some short stories in here. I just figured something different. All right, this one is by a person by the name of Armin Muse, I believe his name is. And this is the one to show you guys what a Penelope Harris or not. I like her. She's got everything on her Twitter that has to do with Katie. So I was thinking we can go kind of look over there after from last year in May when she when apparently she got hacked and she died. Her memorial Instagram. All right, so this is about a cannibal. Oh, get out of here. All right, so meeting someone online and having them over for dinner sounds like a perfectly normal story of modern dating. But when Armin Muse met Bernd Jurgen Brands on a message board, neither man was simply looking to uncork a bottle of wine and begin a romance. Okay, so this is about Armin and Bernd. I think this is like Polish or something. Hey, J. Marie. What transpired after that meeting turned out to be a fascinating case, blurring the lines of fantasy, morality, and the very nature of consent. Oh boy, I think this is another Joffrey Dahmer case. I said trigger warning. I've got it up there, and even in my description, I said trigger warning because I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth. I haven't read this yet. Armin Muse was born on December 1st, 1961, in Kassel, Germany. Okay, so they are Germans. The last of three boys. As a child, he was obsessed with the fairy tale Hansel and Gretel, a German story about a witch living in the woods who tried to cook and eat two abandoned children who trespassed into her candy coated cottage. That sounds really awful, doesn't it? Muse family moved to a massive 36-foot farmhouse in Rottenburg where he ran around with his brothers. rode horses, and played on a huge estate. He described his early childhood as lovely. According to recollection, when he was 8 years old, his parents divorced and his father left the family, taking all their money with him. He remembers seeing his father drive away after running after him, screaming for him to stop while his father stared straight ahead and ignored his young, distraught son. What an asshole. Hey, SD. When Mew's two older brothers also left the home, he began secrets and I'm black. So, there we go. He definitely wanted someone to be with him forever, someone who could not abandon him. Yeah, this is like Jeffrey Dahmer vibes for me. And he frequently had fantasies about consuming others' flesh, so they would always be with him. His mother, now divorced 3 times, was domineering and extremely overbearing. She berated Muse in public and would go with him everywhere. If women were ever interested in Muse, she would chase them away. She lived a rich fantasy life, dressing up in medieval costumes and decorating her expensive estate to match. At 18, Muse joined the army, where he did exceedingly well and was promoted several times. He had a community, a real brotherhood for the first time in his life, and his fantasies about consuming people subsided for the 12 years that he served. Why is it this is the second freaking cannibal one I'm reading? Damn. Despite his successes, he was eventually discharged from the services. He went to live with his aging mother in the farmhouse, where he had grown up and started working as a computer technician. In 1996, Mia's mother was injured in a car accident. He was already her caretaker, but she became almost impossible to live with once she was practically bedbound. She became more demanding after this incident. Hey, sweet tea, welcome. Well, thank you. I love reading books. I'm a bookworm. In 1999, his mother died, leaving Muse alone in the expansive and remote family home. Free from the structure of the army and the tyranny of his mother, Muse was finally able to do what he wanted. He began looking at brutal torture and pain porn. Great. I picked the greatest stories. Despite the graphic nature of the videos he watched, he was still not satisfied. His childhood fantasies of consuming others were still lurking in the back of his mind. Eventually, Muse made his way to websites and message boards devoted to finding people who wanted to be killed and eaten. Oh my god, I think I know this one too. And it turned out, no, it couldn't be, because it turned out the woman that he meets is his mother, and he didn't, but she's dead. So this isn't it. That was another bizarre one. I read a lot. Muse later alleged he received around 200 serious applicants for this post, all willing to be killed and eaten. He met up with several young men wanting to experience being killed and eaten, but most left the meetings after getting cold feet. Muse never wanted to do anything without the person's enthusiastic and free consent. However, so whenever one of his potential victims hesitated even slightly, he lost interest and let them go. Hey, Jill. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. A hotel worker by the name of Dirk Moeller later testified that he had met with Muse, who had chained him up. And per Mueller's request, trigger warning, pinned pieces of paper to his body that denoted what cut of meat each section would be. This is crazy. Oh my God. As you would do to an animal before butchery. Mueller changed his mind about being killed and was freely let go by Muse without any trouble. He only wanted willing victims. Meanwhile, Bernd Jurgen Brands, a 43-year-old computer engineer, was also pursuing Cannibal Cafe, looking to be eaten by a cannibal. This is insane. Have you guys ever heard anything like this? Unfortunately, I have. I just not this story. Hold on just a second. I gotta get my son to shut his door. So, a 43-year-old computer engineer was also pursuing Cannibal Cafe, looking to be eaten by a cannibal. This is messed up. His post read, "Dinner, or your dinner," in which he promised the reader they'd get the chance to eat him alive. It's disgusting. These are not just bizarre, they're disgusting. Brands had a troubled life. His mother committed suicide when he was 5, and his father had shut down and refused to discuss it. Later, when Brands came out as gay, Brands alleges his father stopped talking to him. Oh, thank you, Jill. Yeah, definitely. We haven't caught up in a while. France had a significant pain fetish and would pay sex workers to satisfy his needs. One man said Brands had offered him all his belongings and money for him to bite his penis off. This is why I said I can't control it because of my mouth, okay? One man said the prince had offered him all his belongings and money for him to bite his penis. On February 14th, 2000, Brands got a message from Muse, which is the cannibal, replying to his post on the message board for the Cannibal Cafe. The pair exchanged messages for a few weeks, discussing boundaries and detailing how Muse would kill Brands, how he would eat him, and what should be done with the rest of his body afterward. On March 9th, 2001, Brands took an early morning train from Berlin at 11:14 a.m. He got off the train and met the man who would eventually kill him. Muse recalls being nervous and excited when he first laid eyes on Brands, and later described him as very nice and a lovely. Loud, busy train station made for an awkward first meeting place. The two yelled their hellos as best they could over the hustle and bustle of regular people taking their everyday train journeys, who could have no idea about the sinister reason these two were seemingly normal men were meeting. Hi, April. The hour-long ride back to Mew's home gave them time to relax into each other's company. Brands was apparently very comfortable at the time they reached their destination, as he stripped naked almost as soon as they entered the house. Hey, cool gamer. Muse recalls that Brands wanted him to admire dinner. Hey, Stephanie. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. This is messed up. On the second floor, Muse had constructed a slaughter room, complete with a bed, butchery table, and a meat hook. They lay on the bed chatting and touching one another. Muse said they had sex because Brands wanted to, but neither of them was that enthusiastic about it. Brands quickly realized that Muse didn't have the strength or inclination to inflict the pain on him that he really needed. After that disappointment, Brands seemed to change his mind about the whole thing. Muse was once again facing the possibility of having his fantasy slip through his fingers, but he was not at all interested in forcing anyone to do anything. As soon as consent was removed, Muse soured the situation and no longer wanted to go through with it. He agreed to drive Brands back to the train station. At the station, though, Brands changed his mind back. He requested they stop in town for some sleeping pills and cough medicine that he thought might dull a sensation and claim his mind enough for Muse to be able to go through with the original plan. Back at the farmhouse around 6:30 p.m., Brands anxiously said to Muse, "I can't stand it anymore. Cut it off." Muse set up his camcorder to record the night and set to work attempting to remove Brands' PP. This is crazy. This is more than bizarre. The first knife he used was too dull. The second made quick work of the amputation. Muse said Brands screamed horribly, but it only lasted 20 to 30 seconds. I'm glad you're not easily triggered. I'm trying to. Wow. This is the book. I did not expect what I'm reading. Okay. I thought these were going to be kind of funny, kind of weird. Like, no, these are horrible. Muse lawyer Harold Ermel, who later had the macabrous task of studying the 4-hour video made that night, said he could tell that Brands was very much enjoying the fountain of blood spurting out of the open wound where his PP should be. You know about this? Jay Marie, you know about this? He put ketchup on it? No way. These are insane. The two men had already agreed that they would share the member. Oh, hell no. The two, okay, they're calling his thingy his member. The two men had already agreed that they would share his member at Brand's last meal. Muse cut it in half, blanched the pieces, and pan fried them with salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Unfortunately for them, the pieces shriveled up and became inedible. Oh, they put ketchup on everything. Okay, that makes sense. Around 9 p.m., Brands began feeling very cold from blood loss, so Muse ran him a hot bath and went to another room to read a Star Trek novel while waiting for Brands to pass away. Okay, all right, so the bird's gone. They ate it, or couldn't eat it, sorry, because it shriveled. Okay, now he's in the bathroom. Hmm. Hours passed and Brands was still alive. Muse went to check him at about 11:30 p.m. to find him woozy but happy because he was lying in his own blood. Eventually, Brands wanted to get out of the bath. He was so badly weakened, he could barely stand, and he soon collapsed onto the floor. He spent the next several hours in the slaughter room, coming in and out of consciousness. At around 2:30 a.m. on the morning of March 10th, Brands once again collapsed to the floor unconscious after trying to get out of bed. The tape of the night showed Muse distraught and clearly unsure what to do. He picked up and put down a knife several times. He later said he thought about calling for an ambulance, but was stopped by how close he was to the fulfillment of his lifelong desire to butcher and eat a person. Right? I think I'm gonna have that. Just do. I hope the next one's better. Muse even prayed for guidance on what to do next, though he admits he did not know if he should pray to the devil or to God. Yeah, I'm reading this for the first time, so that's why I'm laughing and I'm like, oh my God. No, I didn't read it at first. I'm stupid for that one. I wanted to share it with you guys. This is awful. Okay. Muse even prayed for guidance. Oh, I just read that. He also asked God for forgiveness for what he was about to do. Also, a lot more hesitation. Muse eventually cut Bran's throat, finally bringing his life plagued with morbid sexual fetishes and dark fantasies of being eaten alive to a sobering end. No way. Really, Stephanie? Muse was butcher a human. Okay. Muse decapitated Brands, hung him on the meat hook in the slaughter room. I might not be able to read all this. So we looked to Google to do this. In a slaughter room, hung on a meat hook, removed insides, body in half. He butchered it like an animal. Oh my God. They were cut into little pieces, and he actually mentally labeling the pieces as you would in a cow slaughterhouse. His first meal, made from Brand's body, consisted of a piece of rump steak. He's from his back, which he ate in a candlelit room on his best dinnerware. Uh, it's over soon. Along with a lovely red wine, potatoes, Brussels sprouts. He kept the rest of the body in a false bottom freezer in the kitchen underneath cuts of other non human meat. Muse said Brands tasted like pork but stronger and that he very much enjoyed the flavor. However, the taste wasn't all he was interested in. Consuming another was always a pathway to true bonding and a deep connection. Yeah, okay. He later said, I was getting the feeling that I was actually achieving this perfect interconnection through his flesh. And that since consuming Brands, he's always with me. This is some Jeffrey Dahmer shit. Fun fact. Muse buried the inedible parts of Brand's body in his garden and set out to find another willing victim as he worked his way through the meat in his freezer. Again, he posted on Cannibal Cafe, and again, he got a lot of interest. In November 2002, an Austrian student got in touch. Curious about Muse's history and experience, Muse didn't go into detail but told him that he wouldn't be his first. The student got a weird feeling that Muse was actually telling the truth and was keeping a dark secret, so he called the authorities. Well, why the hell would you go to a freaking, what the hell they call it? A cannibal cafe? Like, really? On December 11, 2002, police raided the farmhouse and found 15 pounds of Brand's body still untouched in the freezer, as well as a videotape Muse had recorded that night. On July 17, 2003, Muse was charged with murder and brought to court after being judged sane and fit to stand trial. The case proved difficult for prosecutors because cannibalism is not actually illegal in Germany. Oh my God. The tape and the correspondence between the two men also clearly showed that Brands was a willing victim who seemed to enjoy what happened to him. Oh my God, I think he walked away. Muse pushed for being convicted of killing on demand, a kind of euthanasia that, well, not totally legal, only carried a 5-year jail sentence. He said, I wanted to eat him, but I didn't want to kill him, and reiterated that Bernd came to him of his own free will to end his life. On January 3rd, 2004, Armin Muse was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 8.5 years in prison. In April 2005, the prosecution called for a retrial, claiming Muse should have been charged with murder. During the trial that began on January 12, 2006, lawyers argued that Brands could not have consented to the acts due to his level of intoxication, and that there was no way around the fact that Muse was the one who ended Brands' life. This time, the verdict was so lenient. Muse was convicted of murder and given a life sentence. Muse says he regrets what he did and would not do it again, given the opportunity. To people with similar inclinations, he gave this advice, which seems to imply that he was not satisfied by carrying out the macabre dream he had wished for his entire life. The wishes and the fantasies you have can never, ever be fulfilled, and everything you dream about will always remain a dream. Sources say he's now a vegetarian. It's awful. This guy. Oh my God. I gotta see who this dude is. Now he's a vegetarian. Really? All right, you have a great night. Bye, Jill. I'm just gonna look up this guy. Armin Muse. So he's German. Not N-M. Oh, it comes right up. Oh my God, here he is. Okay, I'm gonna share the screen with you guys. There he is. Armin Muse is a German former computer repair technician who received international attention for murdering and eating a voluntary victim in 2001. They talk about the pee-pee. Wow. There's a freaking movie? Oh, hell no. Really? I don't think I can watch that one. It's called Grim Love, and it's starring Carrie Russell, Felicity. Oh, it was banned in Germany after Muse complained of his personality rights? Are you serious? Had been violated? Your personality rights have been violated? What the hell? Yeah, there's a damn place. It must be on the dark web called Cannibal Cafe. That's scary. Wow. Hopefully this isn't another cannibal one. That's 2 now I've read in this stupid book. Yeah, I'm assuming it's gotta be, um, oh my god, the dark web or something, right? I don't know, let's kinda quickly go down and see if they say anything. Just more German cannibal, and then it oh my god, you guys made a damn video? Ew, they did. I think I know this ugh. I've heard of them, SKYN, like Skinned, I think it's called, and they make disgusting videos about disgusting shit. This happens to be one of them, and they creep me the hell out. There it is, Cannibal Cafe, no fucking way. Wait, what? Okay, I gotta show you guys this. It's like a thing. Such great stories, right? I'm so sorry. Okay, this is weird. There is one, but it's like a eatery. It's not. Come on, you guys want to watch that? I don't know. This is Cannibal Cafe. Where is it? It's in, oh my God, of course it's in fucking Canada. Really? Autistic, are you in here? I know if you've been there. Have you been to the Cannibal Cafe? Where is she? Jeez. Oh my God, it's in Vancouver. That's, of course it is. Of course it is. Closes in, oh, it's closed. Beloved Vancouver burger joint, Cannibal Cafe. Oh no, it's closing. Oh no, no. 7 hours ago, as famous as a shrine to classic punk rock as it is for its burgers. It is leaving. Okay. Well, that's fine. I'll show you this video if you really want to see it. You haven't heard of it? Okay, apparently they did close it down. Can you imagine? Huh. Sorry. You know you like cannibalism. What's crazy? I was reading this book and sure enough, two of them. Why do I have a play button here? What in the world? Okay, of course it's YouTube. Try this one again. There we go. It is about him. Oh, no, no. I'm gonna get no, fuck that. I'm gonna be sick. I can't. Oh, I can't. Oh my God. Hannibal Lecter. I love that show. I actually do. That I can handle. Okay, this one's oh. Okay, so this one is called Missy Bevers and the SWAT Murderer. Please don't be cannibal. Please don't be cannibal. On Monday, April 18th, 2016, Missy Bevers woke in very early hours to get ready and drive to Creekside Church in Midlothian, Texas. She arrived at 4:18 a.m. and began hauling exercise equipment into the church's indoor classroom. The wife and mother of three girls was setting up for a popular 5 a.m. Camp Gladiator boot camp class. Oh, you're behind? Yeah, my thingy's not working. Hmm. There we go. Students began arriving just before 5 a.m. Okay, so this is actually kind of good to read because then we can kind of figure out what a SWAT really means, according to what Katie says, right? The two cops. So students began arriving just before 5 a.m. But instead of finding Missy ready to give her beloved students a dynamic workout, they found her lying face up on the floor of the classroom, surrounded by broken glass from an unknown source. The frantic students called 911 at 5:06 a.m., but there was nothing that could be done. Missy was already passed. Hey, Super Snoops. Oh, this is right up your alley, honey. You missed it. Okay, so the first one I read, you're gonna have to rewind after this is done or now, whichever one you want. But I was reading about a cannibal. Holy hell, this it was gross and bizarre, and it was just fucked up. It's right up our alley. Okay, this one's about a SWAT. Missy Bevers and the SWAT murderer. Okay, so she's passed away. Police immediately began an investigation, and it wasn't long before an extremely promising lead presented itself. Well, unfortunately, the cameras in the church's parking lot had been out of service for some time. The interior of the church was equipped with motion sensor security cameras. I just hope it's not another friggin' cannibal. Around 3:50 a.m. that morning, the cameras had been activated. They caught a clear picture of the murderer wandering the halls. The individual was dressed head to toe in black police riot gear, complete with a black face covering, a helmet with the light attached to it, and what looked like to be a bulletproof vest with large white letters spelling out police across the back and chest. Hey, that high guy. How do you do, everyone? Tell her I'm not here. She's a bit. They seemed eerily calm and in control as they stalked the halls of the church, checking doors and breaking things with the hammer that was clutched in their left hand. The medical examiner later said the wounds on Missy's head and chest were consistent with the tool that the suspect was carrying, though police have not released exactly how Missy passed. The authorities studied the tape to get an accurate profile of the suspect. They said the individual was between 5 feet 2 inches, and 5 feet 8 inches. Hey, Megan. We're just reading some really messed up. They said the individual was between 5 feet 2 inches and 5 feet 8 inches and walked with a distinctive gait, with their toes pointed outward and a slight limp or lilt to their walk. Interestingly, the authorities said the walk had a feminine sway. Feminine sway. Feminine? I can't even say it right. Feminine. No. Feminine. Thank you. Feminine. No, feminine. Hey, Reagan. Had a girly sway. We'll go with that. I can't even spit the word out. So they had a feminine sway, and considering how short the suspect was, they could not rule out the possibility that the killer was a woman. Because the security tape showed that the suspect was already in the building by the time Missy arrived, the first theory was that she had accidentally interrupted a burglary in the progress and was unalived in a panic. However, this wasn't a so-called mega church known to use expensive AV equipment or be raking in huge donations. Creekside was a relatively small church, especially by Texas standards. That served the small town of Midlothian. Maybe a desperate person looking to do a quick smash and grab would target a church for whatever they could find, but the person caught on the camera did not look like a frenzied small-time criminal. There's also the fact that nothing of value was taken. Church officials said none of their equipment was missing, and even Missy's jewelry was left untouched. So if it wasn't a robbery, what was it? Was Missy specifically targeted? Hey, Triple. Of course, the police did what they always do in these cases and turned their attention to Missy's husband. Brandon Bevers fully cooperated with the police. He gave them access to everything they needed and didn't seem to be hiding anything. Brandon told them his 20-year marriage had been solid, and he didn't know anybody who even disliked Missy, let alone anyone who would want to hurt her. Brandon also had an airtight alibi for the night. His wife was unalive. He was on a fishing trip in Mississippi, which police were able to confirm through receipts and surveillance footage. On April 22nd, 4 days after I don't know why we can't just say murder. Like, come on. Change your ways, YouTube. Like, schmurder, really? Unaliving? No. 4 days after the murder, the authorities thought they had a massive break in the case. A man had taken a white, bloodstained woman's long sleeve shirt into a dry cleaner in Midlothian. Well, that was stupid. He claimed it was canine blood from a dog fight he'd broken up in his daughter's backyard, after which he had to take the dog to the emergency vet. Dry cleaner knew of the shocking murder that had occurred just 4 days before. He called the police not only because he was suspicious of the man's story, but because the man was Randy Bevers, Missy's father-in-law. What was a member of Missy's family doing with a blood-stained garment only a few days after the murder? Speculation spread wildly as the public got its hands on this information. A theory sprung up that Brandon and his father were working together, and Brandon had just taken his fishing trip as a cover for his whereabouts while his father committed a crime they knew Brandon would be suspected of. Others thought Randy had worked alone and tried to get Brandon out of a bad marriage without losing any money or custody of his daughters in a bitter divorce. It didn't help Randy's case that he also matched the physical description of the suspect from the surveillance footage to a T. Hey, beautiful me. He was a shorter, stocky man and walked with his toes pointed outward, the same distinctive gait used by the suspect in the surveillance footage. Unfortunately for those who thought they had solved the mystery, all of Randy's alibis checked out. He had been on a golfing trip in California, on the morning of Missy's murder. His daughter Christy also confirmed that a dogfight had happened in her backyard, and there was surveillance footage from the emergency vet that showed Randy did indeed take his dog to be treated after the fight. There is actually, yeah, I agree, Stephanie. Giving them wings without Red Bull. What? People in the community had held out hope that the blood on the shirt from the dry cleaner would still come back a match on Missy's, or at least become another promising lead, but it was confirmed to be Doc's blood from the dogfight. The family bore no ill will toward the dry cleaner or the community who speculated about the Bebbers' involvement in Missy's death. In fact, they held a press conference and thanked everyone involved for bringing whatever they could to the authorities. They encouraged people to keep looking out for anything suspicious that may lead to a suspect. When police received the records back from Missy and Brandon's phones, they found evidence of the couple having marital problems due to both financial struggles and infidelity. This didn't necessarily mean that Brandon was lying to the police about their happy marriage, but it did open up the possibility that Missy had been messing around with someone who may have been dangerous, or maybe that the killer was related to someone looking for revenge, such as a scorned spouse. That was my kind of theory. That's what I'm thinking. Police followed up on several more leads surrounding the possible infidelity that was alluded to in the Bebbers' text messages. A friend of Missy's recalled Missy showing her a creepy message she had received from an unknown man on her LinkedIn profile just a few days before she was killed. The authorities looked into the rest of Missy's activities on LinkedIn. They couldn't find a specific message Missy's friend remembered, but did find what they called flirty and familiar messages and even some that turned intimate. I agree, Super Snoops, always. A workout buddy of Missy's named Mark also said that she was acting unusually around the time she was killed, and some sources say she even suddenly stopped going to the gym she had gone to almost daily for years. Could someone have been following her? The problem with being an independent contractor for a fitness business is that your business relies on advertising. You have to let people know where you will be almost every single day. Missy had posted on her Facebook page that the day before the murder that even if the expected rain did ruin her plan for an outdoor boot camp, the class would still be meeting inside the church. If someone wanted to know where Missy was, all they had to do was look at her social media. Striking before an extremely earlier workout class would ensue that it was dark, Missy was alone and most of the town was still asleep because I was like 5 in the morning when this happened. However, some people don't believe that Missy thought she was in danger. She lived in Texas, an open carry state, and did have a gun registered to her name. She had left that gun in her car as she set up for the class that day, leading many to believe that Missy wasn't expecting anything to happen to her. After all, if you were scared for your life and setting up alone in the dark, desolate area before the sun even crested the horizon, you would probably bring a form of protection, right? Once again, the trail went cold as investigators ruled out the persons of interest from Missy's LinkedIn pages and messages, call logs, and text messages. Looking to the public for help, police released a video that night of the murder showing an extremely suspicious vehicle. They concluded that it was a silver Nissan Altima, made between 2010 and 2012, with Noble sticker on the back. The car entered the parking garage lot of sporting goods store down the block from the church at 1:58 a.m., turned off its lights, and very slowly circled the parking lot. It stopped for a moment, turned the lights on and off several more times, and left the lot at 2:04 a.m., less than 2 hours before the unknown suspect entered Creekside Church. No useful leads came from this information, but another vehicle became the next point of interest for police. At around 4:30 on the morning of the murder, a witness said they saw a dark SUV leaving the church parking lot. This wasn't much information to go on, but once again, the community proved helpful. Since Missy's murder, police had received more than 1,000 tips about various aspects of the case and suspicious people who would be investigated. Maybe those tips were about a man named Bobby Wayne Henry. Bobby drove a brown SUV, similar to the one witness saw that night. He was also a former police officer and tactical agent. Hmm. Who admitted to the investigators that he still owned some of this tactical gear, though he said it no longer fit. Bobby had been fired from the force in 96 for aggravated sexual assault and had since been working as a security guard. He also attended Creekside Church where Missy was murdered and had actually worked security at her funeral, as it was such a high profile case. It certainly wouldn't be the first time a killer had attended their victim's funeral. It's fairly common for a criminal to want to return to the scene of the crime or check up on the aftermath of what they have done. The community was disturbed and disgusted to think that maybe Missy's murderer may not only have been there, but had actually been paid to attend her funeral. Those who called the police about Bobby had also noted that a man had an extremely distinctive gait, just like the suspect on the tapes. The authorities even brought in a forensic podiatrist to compare Bobby's gait to that of the suspect, but they could not definitely find or conclude that they were the same. Police seriously looked into Bobby, but other than the inconclusive report on the strange gait, there were several reasons they couldn't match him to the person who murdered Missy. First of all, he was over 6 feet tall, while they believed the suspect on the security cameras having to be 5 foot 2 inches and 5 foot 8 inches. He also passed several polygraph tests, and his wife said he was home with her all night and into the morning that the crime occurred. The investigation didn't clear Bobby of everything, though. The authorities found CP on his computer, and he was arrested and jailed in 2017. Bobby was the last major lead in the case. Despite the suspect being caught on camera, a suspicious vehicle acting oddly right down the street from the murder, reports of creepy messages from strangers, and many tips that led to a former police tactical agent with the same strange walk as the suspect. This case has never been solved. Oh, come on. It's so funny. Hello, hubby. Hey, hubby. All right, let's look up this person. I'm just curious to see if anything was ever found. Oh, there's even a suspect video. Still nothing. I'll show you guys this. I think I've seen this. Actually, yeah, I've seen this. Oh my God, you guys ever remember seeing this? Yes. It was never solved. But that's the guy right there. Like, it looks like he's maybe wants to rob the place. And this is a church, apparently. I don't know. It looks like he's looking for her, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, do you remember seeing this, Teresa? I'm always watching something. He's got a hammer, isn't it? Wait, what is that? Wow. Oh, there's murder. Let's see. Where? No, it's still unsolved. And that was her. Someone's got a theory, that's it. When was this? April 19th, 2023. Missy Bevers' murder remains unsolved still. Wow. Do you guys, anybody know about that murder? Yeah, 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 that's the yoga exercise lady, yeah. She had 3 children. Yeah, as of April, nothing. They still don't know. That was 2016. Wow. Yeah, still no arrest 7 years after. It is a weird case. Yeah, okay, so this one I can say it's bizarre. Carl Tanzler and his eternal love story. You think it's a woman? Well, that's what they kind of said, right? That looks like a woman. What's your theory? I want to hear it. Do you want to come up? You tell me your theory. And then I can read some more weird stories. Look at how the jacket fits. We can watch it again. It's like it's hiding the boobs or stomach. Oh, he's on his game. Okay. Just leave it. I'll fix it. Oh, that's a gun, man. Yeah, we should. All right. Carol Tanzler. I'll look this up. We can kind of have a something in the background. Where it came right up. Radiologist. Yep. That's crazy. He pops right up. He looks like, oh my God, he looks like American Horror Story. Oh, what the fuck is that? Oh God, is he the one that made those human dolls? I think it is. He's like Russian. Oh my God, it is. You guys ever hear that one? Man, these are some fucked up things. It is, isn't it? Yeah. Oh my God. Of course, I gotta pick them up. Yeah, this would be me picking this crap. Good story. It is a creep. Didn't he take his wife's body? No, it wasn't even his wife. It was just some girl he became obsessed with. I'll read it. I'm pretty sure this is it. Oh, good. I'm glad you are, Snoops. I'm going tomorrow night to see Christmas lights with my granddaughter. We have been every. I love doing that. I haven't done that in so long. So Carl Tanzler and his eternal love story. Like he even paid for this girl's grave and everything. If there's a fine line between love and obsession, Carl Tanzler tiptoed across that line and then proceeded to run as fast as he could for several miles. Carl Tanzler was born in 1877 in Germany. Not much is known about his early life. In his early 40s, he married and had two children. In 1926, he moved his family to Zephyr Hills, to Florida. We'll stick with Florida, outside of Tampa. He then abandoned his family and went to work as a radiologic technician at Marine Hospital in Key West under the new name Count Karl von Kossel. Despite not having the credentials to do so, Carl began treating a beautifully 22-year-old Cuban-American woman named Marie Elena Milagro de Hoyos, known as Elena. Oh God, yeah. See, it wasn't even his wife or nothing. It was just some girl he became obsessed with, trying to fix. Carl was immediately smitten with Elena, and not just because she was young and beautiful. Carl claimed that throughout his adolescence, he had visions of family members who would show him his true love. This matchmaking ghost allegedly showed him a gorgeous, dark featured woman. When Carl saw Alina, he knew she was the woman he had been waiting for all his life. Alina was at the hospital to be treated for tuberculosis, which at the time was a terminal diagnosis. Yeah, he really loved her. He was obsessed. Okay, this one's neat. I can go with this one. Carl was devastated that he just met the love of his life and she was going to be taken from him so soon. He was determined to save her so the two could be together, like in the fantasies. Tanzer began treating Alina at the Key West home, creating homemade tinctures, tonics, and medicines to try and cure her. He became close with their family, but it is unknown whether they knew of his romantic intent or thought he was just a very attentive doctor. All the while he was treating Alina, he was also professing his love for her and showering her with gifts, though Alina did not reciprocate the love of his 50-year plus old man. He was so obsessed with her. Despite Carl's many attempts to create the elixir of life, on October 25th, 1931, Alina succumbed to a tuberculosis and passed away. Carl offered to pay for the construction of a custom mausoleum in the Key West Cemetery. He ended up having the only key to the building. Hi, Adriana. For 2 years, Carl visited Alina's grave every night. One night in 1933, he suddenly stopped showing up, which aroused some suspicion from the family and cemetery workers, but nothing that caused too much worry. They thought maybe he had lost interest in his love for Alina, or that he was simply too busy to continue a nightly pilgrimage to his resting place. To her resting place, sorry. In fact, Carl had eliminated the need to visit his beloved's grave every night by removing her body from the mausoleum and taking it to his home in a toy wagon. He got caught too. I'm pretty sure he was dancing with the body. I'm pretty sure that's how he got caught. That's why he stopped going to the mausoleum because he took her body. He was the only one with the key. Because Carl had made sure he was the only one with the key to the mausoleum, nobody realized Alina was missing. Tanzer had spent the 2 years since Alina's death constructing a rudimentary laboratory inside an old airplane. It was complete with supplies to slow a body's decomposition and kept its decaying flesh intact. He was still covered in He used silk covered in mortician's wax and paper mache to keep Aline's face looking as normal as possible. He also stuffed her torso with rags to keep it shapely and gave her glass eyes because her own had decomposed. Tansler rammed wire coat hangers into her limbs as makeshift bones to maintain the body structure. To stave off all the smell of decomposition, he covered the body in flowers, perfumes, and disinfectants. Because her scalp was rotting, he had even constructed a wig for her, made from her own hair, which he had received from Alina's mother. Tansler slept in the same bed as Alina's corpse for the next 7 years. Over these 7 years, people around the town started to become suspicious of Tansler. He kept coming into boutiques to buy women's clothes and jewelry, but he was never actually seen with a woman. He was known to be a recluse, and nobody thought he was married or even seeing anyone. So who or what was he buying all this finery for? A young boy cycling past Tansler's remote home also reported that he saw him dancing with what the boy thought was a life-size doll. Rumors of his strange behavior reached the De Hoyos family, leading Alina's sister Florinda to drop in on Tansler in 1940. She initially also thought the figure was just a doll of her sister. She found it unsettling, but didn't think there was any possibility it was actually her sister's body. Alina had been dead for 7 years, and as far as she knew, was still lying in the mausoleum in Key West Cemetery. Florinda alerted the authorities anyway, though, because she felt so uncomfortable with the figure she had seen in Tansler's home. The authorities went to Tansler's isolated home and found the doll that the boy and Alina's sister had spoken of. After some tests, they concluded it was, in fact, Alina's body. Among all the other alterations to her body, they found a cardboard tube placed in her groin. Oh, fuck. As a makeshift vagina. Okay, I forgot that one. Ugh. Investigators said they couldn't determine whether Tansler had used it for sexual gratification or just structural integrity, though it could have been just too shocking and depraved a detail to release to the public in the 40s. Tansler was arrested for grave robbing and found mentally competent to stand trial despite some obvious unhinged things he swore happened. First, he said that Lena's spirit would visit him every night while he sat next to her body in her mausoleum. He said she told him she wanted Carl to take her from her resting place and to live with him. Second, he said he had planned to use an airship to take Alina high into the stratosphere so that radiation from outer space could penetrate her tissues and restore life to her form. Horrifyingly, the statute of limitations of grave robbing had already been reached, and Carl Tansler was allowed to go free without facing any consequences for the horrific and dehumanizing modifications he had made to Alina's body. The horror continued as Alina's body was put on display for the curious onlookers who had heard about the morbid case in the news. She was shown at the Dean Lopez funeral home, and 7,000 people came to see her before she was finally put to rest in an unmarked grave in Key West Cemetery. Tansler died alone in 1952 in his Florida home. Michael. Oh, I've heard this one. This is the one that was on Unsolved Mysteries. That's not really it. Oh my God. I'm just going to show you this real quick, and then I'll move on. And I'll read this quick one, then I think I'll be done for the night. That's her. She's gorgeous. Look what he fucking did to her. Oh my God. Have you guys ever heard the Teresita Bassa story? She ended up getting possessed by a dead woman. And it turns out that the person who was dead literally came through and told her story through this alive woman. It was pretty neat. It's on Unsolved Mysteries. I'll have to show you. Teresita Bassa, the woman who solved her own murder. The most tragic and frustrating part of a homicide with no witnesses is that nobody will ever know what really happened. How the victims spent their last moments, whether they knew their killer had bad intentions, or if they were aware they were in danger before being dealt with their death blow. Teresita Bassa's friends and family experienced this confusion and grief while racking their brains for any useful information after she was the victim of a brutal murder. After, after 6 months went by with no leads, that is, until Teresita herself decided to step in and give the authorities exactly what they needed. Teresita Basa was born in 1929 in the Philippines. Two wealthy parents, Pedro and Socorro Basa. She was well educated, well traveled, and an extremely talented musician. She graduated from University in Manila and moved to the USA in the 60s to continue her education. Teresita enrolled in a master's program in Chicago to study music. She eventually decided to pivot her career, focus and use her smarts and people skills to work as a respiratory therapist at Edgewater Hospital, birthplace of both politician Hillary Clinton and serial killer John Wayne Gacy. Wow. Teresita offered piano lessons on weekends while she worked toward her degree. On February 23rd, 1977, Teresita left work at 5:30 p.m., arrived at her friend Ruth Loeb's apartment, and spoke to Ruth for half an hour. Ruth said that Teresita told her she was expecting a friend, possibly a gentleman caller, but Ruth got no other identifying details about this man. Around 8:40 p.m. that night, Teresita's neighbors on the 15th floor of the Chicago apartment, Catherine and Marie Naz, smelled smoke coming from somewhere on their floor. They alerted the building caretaker, who called the fire department. When they arrived, they quickly tracked down the smell to Teresita's apartment. Initially, the first responders thought it would be a routine apartment fire from a kitchen mishap or an out-of-control candle, but firefighters found a much more gruesome scene than they expected. Overcooked dinner. Amid the billowing smoke, 47-year-old Teresita was found nude, with a knife sticking out of her chest under a mattress that had been set on fire. The authorities were obviously dealing with a homicide. It did not appear that she had been sexually assaulted, so the fact that she was naked was a strange detail. The investigation didn't turn up many leads except a small note scribbled in pen saying, "Get theater tickets for AS." Months passed without any leads, any motivations, or any suspects. Who would want to harm Teresita at all, let alone in such a violent manner in any large apartment building where any number of witnesses could have seen them? It obviously looked like an intimate crime of passion, but Teresita was not known to have been dating anybody and never mentioned anybody acting strangely to her family or friends. As an immigrant from the Philippines, Teresita had connected with many other expats from her country in the States and had quite a few friends she spoke to regularly. None of them mentioned Teresita feeling uneasy prior to her death. The case was in danger of growing cold and passing into obscurity. That is until Detective Joseph Stachula, it's probably wrong, arrived at work to find an interesting note at his desk. It directed him to contact an Evanston Police Department about the Bassa case. When he called them, they told him to call a coworker and friend of Teresita's. Statula was about to hear an entirely unbelievable tale. Yes, we should. I can't wait. When Statula and his partner, Lee Eplin, called the number, they reached Jose C. Chua Jr., a doctor at Edgewater Hospital, who told them that his wife, Remy, had been having disturbing dreams for several weeks. Shortly after Teresita's death, Remy awoke, distressed, having dreamed about her friend, detailing her own murder, including who had done it. Yes, I remember this case, and Teresita went through her. Yeah. Unfortunately, as with most dreams, the details began to fade the moment she woke up. Remy was certain that these dreams weren't just fabrications of her subconscious and was extremely distraught that she couldn't remember everything Teresita had said, so she could help her friend get justice. Dr. Chua assumed his wife was simply grieving her deceased friend and experiencing nightmares. Then things changed. When Remy was taking a nap one day, she started speaking to Dr. Chua as if in trance, in a voice that wasn't hers. The voice said, Akio Teresita Basa, meaning I am Teresita Basa, in their native language of Tagalog. Dr. Chua was shocked and scared, especially since his wife said that she didn't remember anything about the trance when she woke up. Again, he hoped it was some form of extreme grief working itself out while his wife slept. However, the trances continued. The voice said to him, Doctor, I would like to ask for your help. The man who murdered me is still at large. The voice claiming to be Teresita continued to visit Dr. Chua, telling him exactly who had killed her and how. He said the Teresita voice told me I had nothing. Huh. He said the Teresita voice told me I had nothing to be scared of and that she was really pleading for me to help solve her murder. Dr. Chua was extremely hesitant to contact the authorities about a paranormal occurrence. As a man of science, he was conflicted about implicating anyone based on such a strange evidence. How could he be genuinely go to the authorities and say that ghost of Teresita Balsa had told him who had murdered her from beyond the grave? It was truly absurd and surely wouldn't be taken seriously. Then Teresita possessed Remy again, asking Dr. Chua why he hadn't contacted the police yet. He let the voice know his concerns, that without any actual evidence, his claim would be mocked and dismissed. Teresita seemed to understand what Dr. Chua was coming from, so she gave him some concrete information he could take to police. The voice told him that her murderer had stolen several pieces of jewelry from her and gave him the names and telephone numbers of 4 family members who could confirm that these pieces belonged to Teresita. That's crazy. Dr. Chua decided that might be enough to convince the authorities to look into the leads provided by the apparent ghost of Teresita. He told them the whole story. Teresita was visiting his wife, telling him that the murderer had stolen a pearl ring, a jade pendant from her, and that his name was Alan Showery. The Chuas didn't know it yet, but the name lined up with what the authorities had found at Teresita's apartment. The note saying to get tickets for AS. The detectives were baffled by the information, but eventually agreed to follow up on the tip because the case had otherwise dried up and they needed something to reignite the investigation. Alan Chadwick was another respiratory therapist who worked with Teresita, Dr. Chua and Rami Chua at Edgewater Hospital. Strachula and Eplin visited Chowry's home, where he was living with his girlfriend. Yanka Koma. Showery went with the detectives freely and answered other questions. Police had spoken to him earlier in the investigation, and they had already conducted interviews with everyone who worked with or knew Teresita. Detectives became suspicious of Showery when he seemed to change his original story and contradict little details. Some accounts report that Showery claimed Teresita asked him to come over and fix her TV. He was allegedly having money troubles, and Teresita wanted to help him out by giving him odd jobs. One story says he told Opsters he was planning to go and fix her TV, but she called and said she didn't need him to do it anymore. Another account says he went to fix the TV, but earlier didn't have the parts or didn't know how to do it. And promised he would come back later to finish the job. One source even says that Kalmak told police that he would have no idea how to fix a TV as he has no technical skills. When the authorities spoke to her about the jewelry, she presented the exact pearl ring and jade pendant that Teresita's voice had spoken of, saying Showery had given them to her as a late Christmas present from a dead girl. While in custody, Showery almost immediately confessed to police that he had killed Teresita. Showery's lawyer, William Swano, called for the charges to be dropped as he believed prosecutors didn't have probable cause to even look into Showery. He said, "Never to my knowledge has a man been arrested because of a supernatural vision. Police have never been informed of criminals' names from graves." He claimed that the whole interrogation and arrest was illegal without probable cause. In response, spokesperson for the prosecution said, "It's not like we're going to cross-examine the voice. We're really not interested in the supernatural aspect of the trial. The voice was an initial tip, but the evidence developed independently. Essentially, it didn't matter where the tip come from. The authorities had a duty to investigate a lead, which, as strange as it was, turned out to yield significant results and result in a confession by the killer. Following up on a lead, no matter how weird, was not against procedure." Besides, Showery had already been questioned as a suspect as he worked with Teresita at the hospital. It wasn't as though he was implicating a completely random person who wasn't already part of the investigation, and Showery had really gone to the station with police that day to answer questions. A trial went ahead, but the jury was deadlocked, causing mistrial. While Showery was awaiting a second trial, he ended up taking a plea deal for a reduced sentence. The prosecution wanted to avoid another hung jury, while Showery wanted to avoid the possibility of a longer sentence if he went to trial and was found guilty. Showery only served approximately 6 years in prison and was released in 1983. Some believe Teresita's ghost visited him in jail and influenced him to plead guilty. Following his release, he apparently lived a quiet, crime-free life. I am going to show you on YouTube There it is. It's so old. I've got to share my screen. That would be nice. I'm gonna show you this little part here on Unsolved Mysteries. I have a book about a true ghost haunting. Oh yeah, my favorite stuff. So that's pretty cool. I love that show. That book I'm reading, this one here. There's an episode of Unsolved Mysteries on it as well that I wanted to show you guys. So I'll probably read this tomorrow. Yeah, this is more stuff I like to do. I seriously want to walk away from KJ. I'm gonna keep doing it until she's, she's held responsible, of course, and keep up on the lawsuits and whatnot. But this is more what I've always wanted to do. I just got stuck in that KJ world, and when you start something like that and you really, 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 really see all the damage that she's done to people, you can't stop. I don't know, you just every damn day there's something with this woman, right? Hold on to that feeling. I heard that. Pocket. Oh, thank you guys for joining me. I hope you have a great night. I just figured I'd come on here and just, I don't know, have a little fun. We need to do something Christmassy. I wonder if there's like Christmas. I want to see if there's like Christmas horror movies. Christmas horror movies. Duh. I already know there is. Christmas paranormal stories or something. Hmm. Let's try stories. Probably gonna take me to like that one that I 7 short scary Christmas stories to tell. Ooh, we might have to do this tomorrow. Ah, The Brown Lady of Raynham Hall. I've totally read that one a million times. I have to share my screen. Comedy kitty. Allegedly true paranormal stories revolving around what? Here it goes. 19 of the worst Christmas horror stories ever. Seven short, scary Christmas stories to tell. True. What the f- Let's see how long this says. Okay, this one's not very long. I'll quickly read it. Bright light and the calm watchdog. An unusual visitor on Christmas Day 2008, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't Santa Claus passing by my house in Bloomington, Indiana. The day started in typical fashion with the opening of gifts around the Christmas tree. I served an early Christmas dinner for family and friends, and everybody departed by 5 p.m., except my sister and brother-in-law, who lived with me. They were sleeping in a bedroom at the end of the hall with the door open. I went to my bedroom with my dog Toby and shut the door securely. I was just dozing off when I heard the latch on my bedroom door open. I waited several seconds for my sister or brother-in-law to ask me whatever they came to say, but there was no other sound. It was almost 7 p.m., so my bedroom was pitch black. I had left lights on in the kitchen and the bathroom, and there was a lot of Christmas lights in the living room, so the hallway would have been well lit. I would be able to see whoever it was at the door just by lifting my head. I pushed the blankets down and lifted my head from the pillow, but just as I would have been able to see who was in the doorway, an extremely bright light hit me right in the eyes. I shielded my eyes and yelled, "Turn out that effing light! You're blinding me!" The light immediately disappeared, and I heard the bedroom door latch closed. My bedside light is a touch lamp, so I tapped on it and looked around the bedroom. There was no one in the bedroom except me and Toby. Toby jumped off the bed and went to the door without showing any signs of alarm. First, I wasn't frightened because Toby is a Dutch Shepherd, well trained to be an excellent watchdog and proven personal protection dog. Since Toby was already up, I decided to go let him outside and see what sis or brother-in-law needed. When I went into the hallway, I could see both of them still in bed. I took Toby to the living room to let him outside. There was nobody in there either. So who opened the bedroom door and turned on a spotlight at my face? Like most people, the thoughts of loved ones are always close at hand during the holiday season. When I first went to lie down, I was thinking how happy I was that my small family had enjoyed a pleasant Christmas. But it would have been so much better if my mother and brother had still been alive to share it with us. I would like to think it was my brother's spirit stopping by to say Merry Christmas. I still think of you too. I haven't been able to debunk this strange event or find any kind of rational explanation. I'm half afraid that my heart stopped during my sleep, and the light I saw was the bright light people report after near death experiences. Leave it to me to see the stairway to heaven and ruin my chance at eternal paradise by saying, turn out that effing light. I've made a mental note that if I ever see another bright light to clean up my language just in case. Scarlet. Oh, so she swore at the light. What happened? Oh, okay. You want to know? You know, that's what I mean. So I was asking you earlier, Teresa, like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to talk on it just because it's fucking disgusting, if you ask me. Um, we just went separate ways, I guess. Um, she did a live last night and it was about a lot of things. I was mentioned, but I can someone put her live in my link? You can go watch it and just kind of come to your own conclusion. I just don't want to talk about it, you know. I don't want to yeah. I don't know, I just don't want to talk about it. I don't feel comfortable. It's on Gypsies or something, isn't it? Yeah, it was her live last night. I know like people fight, right? But this is different. This was we're done. Yeah, I don't want to give her any ammo. Fuck, I'm good. I hear ya. I hear ya. I can talk to you privately too. I just don't want any more. I want to fight. I don't want. I want to be happy. That's my goal. I feel bad because I can't really. I can say whatever I want. Honestly, I could do a live. I could do this, do that, but I don't believe in it. I just think that it's best if I just don't respond. You know, I have a lot of support. Um, I don't know what to say to that. Yeah, it wasn't very nice. Hey, Megan. Um, yeah, Country Girl Brenda. So the subject of tonight is, I'm sorry, it's like over, my bad. But I was reading these stories. So if you want to rewind and you want to kind of laugh and be like, what? I read two stories from here tonight. Okay. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we can do that sometime. Oh, that's a lot. If you guys want to watch it, you're obviously more than welcome. It'll help, I guess, explain what happened last night. So artist, I was reading some stories from here. So these are the most bizarre true crime stories ever told. So they were kind of funny. They're so out there. They're really bizarre. And the last one I just read was about a person called Teresita Balsa, which I actually learned about from Unsolved Mysteries. So that was the clip in the video I was just watching. So if you want to rewatch the stream, if you're into just listening, that's what I did. I read some from here. They were pretty interesting. I like that book. Oh, Christmas cartoons. Oh, thank you, girl. Is that what that was? Oh man, there's something on Reddit, guys. Without a crystal ball Christmas. Sorry. 12 Days of Christmas without a crystal ball style. Um, jeepers. I have way too many notifications. I see it already. Cool. I'm sure it'll pop up, but thank you so much. I can't wait to get a house of your own. Actually, I got it off Amazon for $14.99 or less. I can't remember. Does it even have a price on the back? I believe it was $14.99. There's three of them. They were there was the bizarre true crime, then there was like I'm sorry, I can't think. There's like quizzes on serial killers and stuff like that. Oh, that lasts a very long time, Autistic. Damn. 15 totes done? Okay, there you go. Yeah, you won't even have to watch anything on here, artist. You can just listen to me ramble. I appreciate that, Jill. All right, I'm gonna head out. What time is it? Yeah, I think my kid's still awake. She needs to go to bed. Thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you have a great night. Merry Christmas. I'm sure I'll see you again. I'm gonna probably read more of that book tomorrow night. It's pretty cool, eh? Right up my alley. And Snoop's. Oh my god. You guys have a great night. Bye.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until